Islam and greetings. Princeanaelbey, Divine Prince of the Divine Theocracy of the Moorish Science Temple of America through Temple Alhambra. I was compelled through meditation this morning to make this video. I was meditating to Jimi Hendrix, and by the way, he was the baddest left-handed axe player in the world, bar none. That boy was just flat mean. At any rate, I was meditating to Jimi Hendrix this morning, and that song, Message of Love, came on. And as I heard his words, again, the lyrics to Message of Love, that is what inspired the compulsion to do this video. I'm going to share some things with you, and this is for all of you, Asiatic Moors, amalgamated Moors. This is for all of you. There are things that you are going to witness and live through, and they're going to be very, very new to you. What I need you to know is the reason that these things will happen is because of you. It is because of you. You do not listen. That is one of the greatest of the human flaws. You don't listen. I'm going to share with you some things. And some of these things were considered secrets. And they were secrets in the last age. We are no longer in that age. And man should have progressed far enough to be able to digest what I'm about to tell you. I personally know that you have not. I'm going to give you a bit of an analogy right now before I continue. Some of my brothers, and I don't mean earthly brothers, they got a pool going. The odds are not in your favor. But I'm here with you. And that song, Message of Love, compelled me to educate you to a few things that I know for a fact you do not know. Those of you who pretend to play at practicing Moorish Science, you need to take notes. Because what I know is, for especially you Moors here in Mecca, you make sure you take notes. I know for a fact you despise knowledge. But for just once in your miserable plan at being a Moorish scientist's life, do something for somebody else. You write it down and you pass it to others. Do you know why, you Moors, when you say the map, when you do the map, do you truly understand the science of holding up those two fingers on your right hand? I have seen you hold your 2 fingers up on the left hand. That is incorrect. It is 2 fingers on the right and 5 fingers on the left. I have watched you do this. I did not pity you. What I knew was you didn't know. And then, just as now, I consider it my duty as part of my job and mission here to correct that and help you correct it. It's nearly too late for you, but not absolutely. And you see, while my brother's got this running bet going, I'm betting on you. Despite what I know about you, I'm betting on you. These secrets were secrets in the last age. We're no longer there. And these things that I'm going to share with you are no longer secrets. Because, there are some who expect you to be more advanced than you truly are. But I'm going to give them to you just the same. So that when I report, I will have done my best. Just like Yeshua did. Check that. His real name was Melchizedek. He's the Prince of Peace. The closest thing man and mankind had to Brother Melchizedek was Mr. Michael Jackson. Peace and blessings be upon him. Hi, Dave. So I need to tell you how things work, because you have no idea. Those 2 fingers that you hold up on your right hand, they do represent Allah and the angels who stood with him. Those angels who stood with him were the archangels. That is who stood with him. While you children fell due to your own willfulness, it was the exercising of your will that put you here in second heaven. Your own will did that. And as I spoke in my last video, archangels are sent sometimes with a warning, especially to the truly ignorant, and sometimes they just come and do the job. You see, what people truly don't know, Timothy Drew, he was not ordained by some minister. Because you see, every now and then, when Pops, Allah, when he feels that love that he is for his angels who fell here, I'm going to deviate for just a minute here. You Asiatic Moors, especially those of you who think you are black, I'm going to share with you how you got here. I am going to put it in analogous form so that you might more clearly comprehend. Can't give you your origins because I don't know. I got created the same time you did. However, this is how you came to be on second heaven. I sincerely hope you all are writing. Let me first explain to you that there are 7 heavens. First heaven, mother's womb. From there, you go to second heaven, which is the plane of things made manifest, three-dimensional earth. Third heaven is the adept chamber, of the Moorish Science Temple of America, where secrets and mysteries unfold and stories that are never to be told outside of chambers. Exercises in the craft are taught in Sheik's chambers. Third heaven is where you are elevated to beyond the physical plane. Third heaven is where you learn to control and master the powers that you have actually learned that you possess. Third heaven is where you learn to be of greater benefit to man. That is a heaven. That is third heaven. Fourth heaven is the etheric plane. That is the plane of soul. Fifth heaven, spirit plane. Sixth heaven, spirit plane. Seventh heaven, highest plane of spirit life. Okay, now that we've got you up in seventh heaven, this is how you came to be here. We were all sitting next to Pop in his easy chair, one Sunday, and he was watching the Bears-Raiders game. The Archangels were sitting on one side. They were on his right side. And you all, the rest of the angels, were on his left. And so it was the first quarter wasn't even finished. And you got restless. And so you didn't want to sit there and finish watching the game with Pops. And you asked if you could go out on the porch. Allah said, sure, go on out there. And before he could tell you, don't let the screen door slam, not only did it slam, you let it slam. So, you all got out there on the porch and you already know the rules. Stay in front of that screen door where I can see you. You knew the rules. But because Allah endowed you with free will, you exercised it. It was you who had to crane your head around there to see if he had taken his eyes off the game and was looking towards that screen door so he could see you. And what did you willful angels do? Well, you decided that you were going to venture out a little further on the porch. The only thing you knew that there was a front porch. What you didn't know was where the front porch ended. See, only Allah knew that. You invoked your will and you sneaked off a little further away from that screen door. He was only trying to protect you then from yourself. But you sneaked off anyway, got a little further away until you fell. That's when you learned where the end of that plane was. And you fell. And it was all due to your willfulness. And so you fell to the sixth plane of spirit life. You were still in spirit form. So, all you're doing is saying hi to the other spirits. But you were still falling. You fell to the fifth plane of existence. You fell to fifth heaven. Still a spirit plane. And while you're dancing and commiserating on that spirit plane, you're still falling. Well, because the vibrational rhythm is slowed through each descending heaven, your vibratory rate slowed down. When you left the fifth plane of existence, when you left fifth heaven, your vibratory rate, it dropped. It dropped like the vibratory rate from a star. Speaking of which, there's no such thing as meteorites. Would you think of meteorites that fall and hit Earth? You think of meteorites? They're not. They're stars that have burned out. You see, because you know why they're so bright? They're as bright as they are to you because their vibratory rate is so high. It is incalculable. That is why they are bright. That's why stars are so bright. And because they are, for the most part, fixed in the water, which comprises the sky. Why do you think the sky is blue? The scientist says, well, it is the sun and it's reflecting back. Come on. Come on. You got two firmaments. In between that is all water. You call it the sky. And those meteorites, they're just burned out bulbs. They're stars who have lost their shine. And their vibratory rate, they get slower and slower until it is so dense, it falls right through the water, through the firmament, directly above the plane of Earth, and it hits the ground. Those are burned out bulbs. They're stars. They're stars. And they come in different sizes. There's no such thing as a meteorite. A meteorite would suggest that there is a such thing as an outer space, and there is not. Which is what this video is about, as I started out. You see, when Allah sets things right, the first thing he does is he sends archangels. That's the first thing he does, just to scope out. And now, the Greeks learned, I'm not going there. He sends archangels to look the place over. Archangels do have discretion, but generally, it is all about love. It's all about love. And I'm betting on you. The prophet Timothy Drew, known as Noble Drew Ali, he was ordained, not by man, to be the prophet for a race of people who did not know who they were. He had a long road to hoe. He had to battle hundreds of years of brainwashing and indoctrination. This was a mighty task. But all of his prophets are given mighty tasks. The mighty task that they all had was they had to go before their own ignorant ass people to warn them of the evils that would descend upon them if they did not change their evil ways. The Circle 7 speaks. The 101 speaks of the wrath of Allah. You've never seen it. And it is not something that I would look forward to being a part of. But archangels come, survey, make decisions. But because it is love that makes it possible for him to even send a prophet. It's love that does that. And archangels are no less than that. We were all formed of love. And it is the only thing that is going to save you. You don't have any more time left. And it is in your best interest. Amalgamated Moors, Asiatic Moors, time is against you now. He sends prophets. He sends archangels. And then he sends his wrath. You all have never experienced that. And it is not a good thing to see. When he sent the prophet Hud to his people, and if you can believe it or not, if you can believe it, the giants weren't even as bad as you today. And the giants were something else. Allah sent Hud to his people. Hud did not get attacked and not listened to by another nation of giants. It was his own people who disparaged his very being. But Hud did his job. He told them in a message that he had gotten, it would be in their best interest to listen. They didn't. They didn't. And he was of the Odd nation. Those are the people who built the pyramids over in Barbara. They're the ones who built the pyramids. And as I explained to you before, as a builder, man uses building materials generally that he can lift with one hand. They were giants. That's who built those pyramids in Barbara. What they call Egypt today is actually the land of Ad, A-A-D. When they didn't listen to him, it is said in the texts, in the holy texts, that the nation of Ad was done away with by a great wind. That great wind was tornadoes, were tornadoes. The funnel, the skinny part, that touches the ground, tears up barns and houses. The funnel on these tornadoes were 5 miles across. Remember, we were dealing with giants, 50 and 55-foot tall men. We were dealing with giants. They thought they were all of that. It was their arrogance and their ignorance that led to their own undoing. Allah is not pleased with what the Moors have done to his prophets' organization. He brought it to save them. He's not pleased. He's not pleased at all. At all. I came in the year 69 during the new era of time. I got here in the year 69. And because you disobedient and willful Moors have completely annihilated one of his beloved prophets' legacy to you, and you have done absolutely nothing but stamp and trample on the remnants of its very foundation, which you have torn asunder. He is not pleased with you at all. But again, it is his love for you, because you are his angels. And you all think you're actually punking Allah. You really do. That's the way I see it. You really think you're punking the old man. You can do whatever you want, whenever you want, to whomever you want. It doesn't matter to you, because he's still going to love you. And you know this. You know this. You see, it would grieve Allah mightily if he had to destroy his angels. You've got no idea what that would do to him. And so he gives you chance after chance after chance. You are the only people who have had as many chances as you have been given. That is through his mercy. And you still don't get it. It is through his mercy that you are even still here. I couldn't be him. That I can tell you. I couldn't be him. I couldn't be him. And in his infinite wisdom, only he knows why you are still here. You're the only people who have been given this many chances. So the temple is new now. And you are given one last opportunity. The work that I have been doing all of my life. Everything just as you. Because remember, I have to walk through all the ways of earth life just like you. Just like you. It's the only way to be you is to be you. This is what I have been working towards all of my life. this last opportunity for you. And all that is needed now is your absolute, abject, earnest participation in this, because it is for you. And it is your absolute last chance to demonstrate to Pops that you can do something as a people in the ways of your ancient foremothers and forefathers. Do not leave here a disgrace to their name. That you do an injustice to them. Peace and blessings be upon all of them. You've got stuff. You have got stuff. If you are interested in your earthly salvation as well as your divine salvation, leave a comment in the comment section. Why do you think the prophet called for only the strong men and women? Number one, he knew that this is not for everybody. And I have learned that in the years that I have been working to fulfill his prophecies. A couple of things I've gotten done. When you are earnest about what you are doing, you cannot help but succeed. When you have faith in what you are doing, that is the 8th degree. Now, one of the secrets that I'm going to share with you right now are the 9 elemental degrees of Moorish Science. And it is applicable. All of them, in their place and time, are applicable to your everyday waking life. They will only serve you when you are involved in those things which contribute to the uplifting of man. One word of caution. Don't ever use these degrees for your selfish self. Once you acquire the knowledge, you share the knowledge, you don't sell it. That's another session for another day. It's another thing that the boss is not pleased with. You all are just downright incredible. Just downright incredible. Someone can tell you something, but because they look like you, they are not worth listening to. The indoctrination is full and complete. You have all but gotten down on your knees with your hands clasped together, looking up at your masters, your true masters. You're only 30 seconds away from doing that. And I come to bring you a way to climb out of this hole. I am throwing a ladder down there to you. Please somebody get on that first rung and start to climb out of this abysmal darkness which you are in right now. While you all have annihilated what the prophet brought, you actually tore down his legacy too. I don't get that. I don't get that. Your meetings, your Holy Night Moorish Science Temple meetings, you may as well be in a First Baptist church. You hold church services. You hold church services. You don't even know how to hold a Moorish Science Temple of America meeting. You make up stuff. Like you pull Princeanaelbey out your ass and then want to hang it on your name. All of this nonsense. All of this nonsense. It is unwarranted. The whole thing, the annihilation of the Prophet's temple, was unwarranted. But had those Moors of that day actually followed the Prophet's words, then we would all be able to walk into a true Moorish Science Temple of America temple. But what I see is none of you know how to effectively run a Moorish Science Temple of America meeting. You don't know what it looks like, which is one of the other signs and reasons that the brother, who holds himself out as the Supreme Grand Sheik because he's old. Because you're old doesn't give you that. Because you're old doesn't make you the Supreme Grand Sheik. Because you're old and you've been running a con all your life. I was raised in the temple. Oh yeah, I went to, the Prophet wouldn't do this. Oh, the Prophet never did that. The Prophet never said that. Like you know. Like you know. At any rate, things are in the process of being set aright. And that is why what people knew as the Moorish Science Temple of America, you all have already destroyed it. I didn't have to do that. You all already destroyed it. What I did was I kept the principles, the prophecies, and the wish of my adopted father. I kept it alive. And that is why, as I stated in my last video, I am here to fulfill the prophecies, not keep the Moorish Science Temple of America in the turn of the last century. That is insane. That's stupid. And while I have heard Moors say, it needs to get back to the way it was when the Prophet was on the scene. Really? How ignorant you are. How ignorant you are. Don't you understand that that was then? Do you not understand that? Do you not understand that the Prophet intended for his organization to grow? Gave you instructions? Do any of you remember that it is to have a Rotarian complexion, meaning it is supposed to spiral out from the center. That's a Rotarian complexion. You see, what you all have destroyed is now brand new. The only thing that was destroyed was one of the last obstacles to truth. You see, this is where you Moors become real sickening to me. Those of you who have gone through chambers, many of you don't even know what the ritual was about or what was to happen when you went through. You don't know, you don't have a clue. That's why I cannot recognize you just because you tell me you're a sheik. You ain't got no sheik degree, so don't tell me that. Do not tell me you are a sheik. Because I know better. I know better. Especially if you bought your way through chambers. You're not a sheik to me. Now, I do not want you to get the wrong impression. Oh, I know some true sheiks. Oh, there are some out there, some real brothers. Oh, there are some, to be sure. I know them. I know them. And these brothers are about the business. Oh, yes, there are some real sheiks. Do not misconstrue. I recognize a real sheik. It takes one to know one. I don't even have to ask him who sat at the chair to the east. I don't have to ask him that, because I know he's a sheik. I know he's got degrees. We can speak as sheiks. There are some, but it ain't a lot of you. Ain't a lot of you. Getting back to these meetings that you all do not know how to hold. As your prince, it is my duty to teach you those things which you do not know. And if you would like actual instructions on how to properly conduct a Moorish Science Temple of America Holy Night meeting and a Sunday school, hit me up in my email. It'll be in the description box. This is your last chance. This is my idea. Because I love you like I do. I have come to love you. Oh, you're something else, but I have come to love you. And praise Allah. Even though I know how treacherous you are, even though I know how ambivalent you are to do the right thing, even though I know that if you'd had your druthers, you would remain in darkness rather than come into the light. And the reason for that is you have more fun in the dark, don't you? Coming into the light would mean that what you thought was fun would all go away. you really don't want to take that chance. One of the psychological reasons that you put that on hold is because in your mind, it'll always be there. Your thoughts are wrong, Moore. Nothing lasts forever. And what you do not think about when your prophets and messengers come to you is this. What you do not think about is while that messenger and that prophet is there trying to teach you and warn you of impending disaster for you. Well, when you get tired of hearing, you turn around and you go about your way. Now, when you decide you finally want what was offered to you, and you go back to that place where you met that prophet and that messenger, they're not there anymore. You blew it. Because you see, they're further down the road ministering to those who are actually waiting for their arrival. You blew it in furtherance of what you thought you wanted. Now, getting back to and staying with your 9 elemental degrees of Moorish Science. The first degree is patience. The second degree is discipline. The third degree is honing your powers of discernment. With the first degree, the student will practice patience. And I understand how difficult it is in a microwave world. You all have been conditioned and trained to react and to want things in a microwave minute. You are being sold a false sense of the universe. That which is done and is done completely and well takes time. And you all have been sold the idea that you don't need time. You have been sold a right here, right now existence, and it is a lie. The first degree to be practiced is patience. Second degree, discipline. Discipline is what the student must practice in order to invoke the physiological effects of mastering discipline. That means a straight back. That means a straight back. And the second degree will assist mightily when one approaches the 8th degree. The third degree, honing your powers of discernment. When Allah created you, He put into you everything that He has in Him. Your powers of discernment are the powers which you possess. You have them now. And when honed properly, I am not going to go into the intricacies or even the rudiments of the third degree because I know niggas. Niggas hear something and they want to go straight to execution. They don't study worth a shit. They don't care about nothing but getting results. And guess when they want them? Right here, right now. Science doesn't work that way. And that is why I'm not going to give you anything other than the results of mastering the third degree. When one is adept in or has mastered the third degree, it is like looking into the future. Now, there are people who can do this and they can do it naturally. These people do exist. They don't know how they can do this. They refer to it as a gift. Yeah, I guess so. But everybody's got it. Everybody's got it. There is no one somebody here who is more special than the next person. And no better proof of this can be seen than when you read the chapter in the Circle 7 where Yeshua went into the woods and, he had that talk with himself. And that's the best example you have got. Because when Satan told him, well, first of all, Satan was hungry. And when you hear people say, well, Jesus was fasting in the woods. No, he wasn't. No, he wasn't. And that's why Satan got on him so tough. Satan was hungry. He told Jesus, look, if you be the Son of God, why don't you turn these rocks into some bread, nigga? I'm hungry. You done passed 4 McDonald's and 6 Burger Kings on the way out here, and you ain't stop and pick up nothing. I'm hungry. Make some bread out these rocks, nigga. Jesus told him, I ain't doing that, man. Shit. Look, I got something heavy on my mind. All right? I ain't thinking about you. Okay. All right. You worried about man and going into Jerusalem and stuff. Look, I'm hungry. Why don't you go into J-Town, find the highest building you can find in that place, and throw yourself off of it? Huh? See, then that'll prove to him you be the Son of Man. And what did Jesus tell Satan? Throwing myself off a building, and that don't prove nothing. The reason he told Satan that, he said, that does not prove that that anyone is, Son of Man. That don't prove nothing. The reason he said that was because it didn't prove anything. Everybody can do it. Wasn't nothing special about Melchizedek. He came here in the form of man. It asks in the 101, why did Jesus come to this earth? Well, the actual reason that Yeshua came was to show man the possibilities of man. All right, back to these degrees. The 4th degree is language. Oh, check that. Let me finish with the first 3. I have so much to tell you. So much to tell you. With the first 3 degrees, if you do not have patience, you will never learn discipline. And without discipline, it will be impossible to master your powers of discernment. The 4th degree is language. The 5th degree is law. The 6th degree is government. And if you do not know language, you cannot know law. And if you do not know law, you will never learn government. The 7th degree is belief. I've been telling you, anyone who wants you to believe anything wants you to be a lie. You cannot spell believe without spelling be alive first, because they are the first 5 letters of believe. Be a lie. Never. Never. No. Don't believe. No. And belief is the 7th degree. And belief is thinking at guessing at what you think might be true. It's the 7th degree. 8th degree is faith. And faith, the definition of faith, is having knowledge of that which you cannot see. That is the definition of faith, etherically speaking. That is how it is viewed on the highest plane of spirit life. That is faith. That is the 8th degree. The 9th degree is master. Mastery. And the definition of mastery is bringing things to manifest. That is the definition of mastery on the etheric level. And belief gives way to faith, as faith, that is, having faith in something you can't see, that promotes mastery, bringing things to manifest. Those are your ancestral 9 elemental degrees. The prophet taught some of the Moors a lot of science and steered them in the direction whereby they could learn for self. He did that. And he loved you so. He loved you so much, he actually believed you were as you presented yourself to him. While all of the machinations and skullduggery and palace intrigue that went on was all done behind his back. These things, they anger Allah. And so he sends archangels. You all have one last chance. You all have one last chance. I am going to give you a place where we, as the adopted sons and daughters of the Prophet Noble Drew Ali, we need to begin to move as one, en masse. And here is one thing that we can get behind as a nation of people. I want you to envision this. Envision all of these Moors setting aside all of their petty-ass conflicts for the sake of the next 7 generations instead of their own selfish-ass selves. Get behind this. We, as descendants of we the people, the Moors who wrote the Constitution for the United States, we as a people, we need to come together flying Old Glory, our imperial flag, because for those of you who don't know, Old Glory is an imperial flag, not just a flag. And you all speak of her with no reverence at all. But never mind that. I know you've never had any training and you don't know anything. But Old Glory, flying at the front. And we, especially if there are those of you who have been in an action before. Now, I'm not going to say marching because niggas march. Negroes march. Pardon the use of nigger. Niggers. Negroes march. All we want is what's guaranteed to us in the Constitution for the United States. That is a righteous cause. It is a just cause. And it is all because we will be working in the interest of the next 7 generations, not yourselves. It can't be about you. That will be your message of love to them. Our ancestors left us a message of love. And they are in the first 7 articles of the Constitution for the United States. Those are our inalienable rights. And we have to, this is the absolute last chance, Moors. This is it. This is it. This is it. We come together as a collective now, and we make enough noise to make the United States pay attention to the government of the Moorish Science Temple of America, because it is the only de jure government in this land as of 1928. And remember, the United States is a totally and separate, different place from America. You got to understand that. They're not one and the same place. That of United States of America, that little monosyllabic 2-letter word means separate and apart from. Don't you get it? When you're kidnapped by those policy enforcers, you're being kidnapped. And that's actionable. And as your prince, under the law, and I don't mean this crap you see on YouTube with these more, giving you procedures and stuff, because they're still not telling you the absolute truth of it all. There is one statement, only one, which must be made in an admiralty courtroom. And then you turn around and you go home. Only one statement. Only one. You don't need no packages, no special affairs, none of that crap. See, you all do not know Moorish science. But all of that aside, but I tell you, you utter these words, you will break Rome. You will break Rome. Oh, they will. They'll hate the day they saw your name come across a docket. Yes, they will. They will hate that. But at any rate, Rome has been trying for centuries until it, to subjugate Greater Mauritania. They finally did it. But we take to the streets as a unit under Temple Alhambra, which is the Moorish Science Temple of America. And we make some righteous noise. And I don't mean go out there like a bunch of niggas, like you're marching in the street screaming Black Lives Matter for Laquan McDonald. And no, ain't no shit like that. Ain't no shit like that. And that is why the ongoing campaign of Temple Alhambra is to change the character of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Its character must change first. What people have heard of the Moorish Science Temple of America, what they have seen of those who claim to be members thereof, and what they know through their own experiences with these organizations who hold themselves out as such, you will not find a flattering review. There aren't any flattering reviews because the character has been so sullied and pissed on that it is worthless to the name Moorish Science Temple of America. And that is why I didn't have to destroy it. You all did. So you saved me a little work. However, the first thing which must change is the character of the Moorish Science Temple of America. That is the first step to be taken seriously by the world that your adopted father told you that you should be sitting at the table with. And the rest of those nations, those who call themselves leaders of that august organization, who have done nothing, who make all kinds of claims and have nothing to bring to anybody except I am this, I am that, with no record to support anything. Well, since there is no more of that temple, you've disintegrated and completely obliterated the foundation. Its new foundation begins with that campaign of changing the character of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Now, what that means for those of you who actually wish to be right, white, upright, independent, fearless Moorish Americans, we welcome you. We welcome you because there is a lot of work that has to be done. Getting back to this action. When, I am saying when, because it will be to your own detriment if this does not take place. Believe it or not, despite what you think you know, you don't run shit. And there are those you have to answer to. And they're watching you now. Don't fuck this up. Just because it's mine, don't hate on this shit. Don't fuck this up. I'm betting on you. I know better, but I'm betting on you. Don't fuck this up. When this takes place, the reason that we are in the streets is to fulfill the prophecies and bring back the constitutional fold of government. And that can only be done under Old Glory. The imperial flag under which the Constitution was forged and the treaty was signed. It was under that imperial flag. It's not just a red flag with a 5-pointed green star. Hell no. Hell no. No, it's not. I know you all hold no reverence for it, but it means a whole lot more than what you think it means. It ain't just a flag. No, not at all. In fact, no. We are in the streets for national justice and to set the record straight. That is when we educate people to the false lives they have been living in accordance with a lie that is a piece of paper known as the Constitution of the United States. That's not the document that our ancestors wrote. I will explain to you again how you can tell the difference between the Constitution for the United States and the Constitution of the United States. The Constitution of the United States, it has a 13th Amendment, and it only has 2 sections. In the Constitution for the United States, in the organic Constitution, the 13th Amendment was the one that Abraham Lincoln got passed in the House. And it has 20 sections, not 2. The Constitution of the United States is missing 18 sections in the 13th section of the 13th Amendment. Abraham Lincoln's 13th Amendment had 20 sections. That is how you can tell the difference between the two. Now, they hid the Constitution for the United States from you. And the reason that we will now be looked at, first thing that's going to be viewed is your behavior, which is why your character must be in line with the pure and the clean temple which the prophet wanted to have. Your attitude and your character must reflect it. You cannot bring that nigger shit here and build on the prophet's foundation. There's no room for it, and there's no time for it. Coming in the doors, the prophet gives you 33 degrees. Coming through the doors. I will now confer those 33 degrees upon you when you come through the prophet's doors at Alhambra. I will confer those 33 degrees on you. There are Moors, especially those who claim to have been in the temple when the prophet was on the scene. Ask that Moor what 33 degrees you're given coming through the prophet's doors. As we take this action, it is going to garner news coverage because ain't nobody expecting it. Ain't nobody expecting it. When we do this action, it will be done in silence. One person will do the speaking. It is done in silence. We ain't walking around chanting and none of that other Negro shit. It ain't about that. That's what they do. We use the language of silence. Yes, that is a language. It is, well, you all might not know this, but up in Philadelphia, there are these people who mock the Moors. They are called the mummers. And they are, and they engage in what's called mummery. And they mock the Moors. They're in Philadelphia. I don't know how often they do this, but it is a ritual that is performed in Adelphi. You use the language of silence. It is about presenting a pure and clean people, not a bunch of noisy ass niggers. That ain't what we are. And if you're truly interested in changing the character of the Moorish Science Temple of America, then you will comport yourself in a manner that bestows honor upon it. That is how simple it is. American Islamism is not difficult. American Islamism ain't difficult. I will come back with another part to this. And I want you brothers and sisters, until I come back with the other part of this, I want you all to cogitate on what I said. Understand why I'm here. Understand why these videos are important to you. Again, myself, I'm not important. Trust me when I tell you that I ain't important. I'm not important. You are. You are. And I'll see you in a bit. Peace.